Alright, well, we're back working on our 1981 Virago 750, XV750. And so I've been having some problems when I was riding it this year that after it warm up, it'd start making this tapping sound. Sounded like the valves were tapping on the back cylinder. And so I finally got the time to take it apart, and it's not too bad if anybody's hadn't taken the motor off. It's not so bad. You just got to take a bunch of the stuff off of the bike. Just a bunch of bolts, parts, and you get all the way down, and then you take the motor loose. One of the easiest ways to do it is to get one of these Harbor Freight transmission lifts. They work perfect for this application because it's got like a V in the middle, and it fits real well to the bottom of the motor. So over here you can see you just hook it up, take the tank off, and hook a bar through the hole where the tank hooks up, and away you go. So we got it apart, and I was trying to figure out, I'm going to take the head and check because the rear cylinder on the intake has 2 springs in it, and so I'm wondering if maybe one of those springs had broke. But when I pulled the head off just a minute ago, it took about an hour and a half or so, something like that. Not too bad to get off. But here's the first thing I noticed. I don't have a head gasket, so I've never had this motor apart. A friend gave me the bike years ago, and I've been riding it around having a good time, and slowly getting worse and worse, starting to hear this noise. So when I pulled it off, there's no head gasket. The only thing we got left is this little tiny piece of gasket material. It just fell off on the floor. Other than that, there's nothing in there, and you can kind of see there's some marking where it looks like it's been bypassing. So that makes me think that probably that noise I was hearing was not having a head gasket, so I wasn't getting a good seal. And after it warmed up, then it starts making this ticking noise. It sounds just like a valve, and I got a stethoscope and everything, couldn't figure out what it was. So maybe that's what the problem is that head gasket has disintegrated. I don't know where it went. It's little springs, looks like a little metal springs. I got the gasket kit right here. So there's a head gasket, and it looks like little coils of metal, and in between it is some kind of fiber material like asbestos or something. So I don't know where all those little pieces of metal went, but we'll find out, because since I got the motor off, I'll go ahead and pop the sides off. I got the gasket kit anyway, and see if it's all down in the oil pump, or the pickup screen of the oil pump. But I had good oil pressure, so at least maybe I didn't hurt the motor. And it doesn't look like the head was damaged. Got the head over here. So the surface of the head, you can see where it's been blowing some exhaust, but at least the surface is not bad. It's not big down in there, so hopefully I can just file that down, just hit it and flatten that out, put another gasket in it, and we'll give it another go. Well, what I was going to do is take this valve out just to see if the spring's good. So I figured I'd put a video of that in case anybody has not taken the valves out. It's pretty easy. You can just do it for nothing with a C-clamp and an old socket, or this little thing, I don't know what it was, but it worked perfect. You just have to slot it on the side so you can access the little keepers to get your valve out. So I'll set the camera up, and we'll take the intake valve out, because it was the one that sounded like it was tapping the most. But I'll take it out and check that inner spring, and then we'll see what it looks like. So inside of here, you can see there's a spring. It's got blue on it, and then inside of it is another spring. So I'm wondering if that little spring on the inside may be broken. I figure while we got it, we might as well check it, because it's not too hard to do. So I'll set up the camera and show you how to take this valve spring loose, just in case you've never done it. And I'll also show you a clip of what the motor sounded like, which may be due to this not having a head gasket, or it might be the spring, but we'll see what it looks like when we get it apart. what we want to do, we're going to take this valve springs out and just see if this valve is bad. So we got our little tool, and it's just a, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's something like a wrench, or well, here's the other end of it. It was some kind of cheap thing, but you could use a socket. There's something you can get on the end of it, but you just got to make some slots in there so you can access the keepers. So what I do is just put it on there, get you a C-clamp, and just push on the center of the valve. It's kind of shaped right. Just get this thing as close to center as possible, and just tighten it down. And see, that way that little window gives you access to your keeper. So just squeeze it down till the keeper's showing. Let's see if I can get it to sit up there. And then get you a little magnetic, one of those little magnetic pickup things. And so the keeper should pop out of there with that. Or you may have to get something like a small Allen wrench or something to get them to pop loose. But then you can walk those little keepers out of there. Hopefully you don't drop them. So there's one. And we just got to get the second one. You drop them, you got to go find it. But since you got the head off the engine, doesn't matter much. You're going to be able to get it anyway. So we just have to get those little guys out. So there's the two keepers. So then all you do is just slowly unscrew your C-clamp, and it's going to free up that valve. And so then you can slide the valve out, and you'll be able to take the springs out. Right like that. So the installation is in reverse, basically. We're just going to push down a little bit so I can get my fingers underneath the valve. So to do it in reverse, the only thing you have to do is you put it back on there and you compress it all back together, and then get you a little bit of Vaseline and put it on the keeper inside here. Then when you put the little keeper on the end of it with the Vaseline, it'll stick to it, and you can work it around and get it back in there, release the clamp, and away it goes. So let's have a look-see. We're going to pull our valve out. So the valve looks good. It's kind of burnt, looked dirty, but I think that's maybe because I wasn't getting very good compression. But it looks like it's seating, so it's shiny all the way around, so at least I'm getting a good seat. So that looks okay. And now we just got to get the springs out. So probably I'm going to have to pull the cam to get this up high enough to get the springs out, because yeah, it doesn't look like the spring's going to want to come out underneath the pin. You could probably take the pin loose, and I can slide it out of there. It's caught on the pin right now. So let me do that, and we'll see if we can get those springs out just to check them. So we'll go ahead and pull the cam out. Let's see, since I don't have it, I can put it down on the table. There we go. So don't try to take your spring out without taking the cam out, because apparently it isn't going to come out from under there. We just figured that out. We got the top of the spring off, but that's about as far as you're going to go. And we don't have to worry about dropping anything in the motor, because our head is on the table. So that's nice. When I was checking the cam for wear the last time, I had to worry about it falling into the motor. So now we need something to grab a hold to it with. So we use the bolt that holds the gear on. And we'll slide this cam out. So that's the bolt that holds the gear onto it. So this thing ought to come out really easy. And you got it lined up. This is the way it's on timing, so this one's towards this, so it should just slide out of there with the pin up. So now we can pull our cam out. Now we got some clearance. Look there. Now we can take these springs out. So we look at them and they're still there. I thought maybe that center one, the inside one, was broken, but it's not. So that looks good. And I'm not sure if my kit contains these little seals, but I could put more seals inside of there if I could pop those out. Yeah, so our kit contains, inside the kit, it's got the valve stem seals. So while we got this apart, we'll go ahead and change out the valve stem seals, and we'll put the head gasket in there. And I would say that's probably going to solve our problem. But I'll add to this video what it sounds like when you're getting bypass here, because I thought maybe the spring was broken, but it's not. So we'll change these little guys out, the little valve stem seals, with these new ones, and that should fix our problem with a little bit of oil burning that we're having as well. So it looks like these little guys are just held in there, and you just pop them out. So we'll take a screwdriver and set it under there and see if it'll pop out of there. Bling, just like that. I don't know where it went, but it came out. Oh, there it is. So it just rests on top of the, it just rests on top of it. It looks like it has an O-ring in the inside, but you can see these are shot. So the rubber's totally worn out. So it was time to replace those. And there is this little fella right here. Oh, it's the spring that goes around it to hold it in. And so our new ones are in the bag. All we got to do is put these guys on without tearing up the rest of our gasket kit. And we're going to take that little guy and we're going to rebuild it. So probably was a good thing that I took this motor apart because of the noise it was making, because I can see that this engine was in a little bit of a need of a rebuild. You know, so we got the gasket kit. I don't think it cost too much. I got it off one of the websites. So there we are. There's our little cup with our little spring seal. And so it just sits down on there on the top of the valve stem and just becomes the seal. It's got a rubber, looks like a little rubber piece inside of there. So he just pushes down on top of it. And you got your new seal in. So then we can put our valve back in. I'm just going to thump it. Thump it with something. Find something heavy to thump it with. I'll just thump it with my wrench. And just make sure that it's seated on there. Feels like it's seated. Redneck Virago fixing 101. I'm gonna put a little bit of Vaseline on this guy so it won't tear my seal out when I shove it up through there. And then we just put our valve back in. Slide, slide, slide. Goes up inside of it. And there we have it. So now we got new seal. And we'll do the other side as well, but it follows the same process. So there we have it. I think that was our problem. Our head gasket has magically disappeared. Don't know where it went, but we'll find out if it's down in the oil pickup screen. I got another video on how to get to that, how to do the pickup screen cleaning, and also how to pull the oil pump off. So if you're looking for some info to do that work, then you can check out one of the other videos that I have on my YouTube channel. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching.